Hi, Rick Harsh again from Coronasamas. Back already because um, my director and I are trying out some new equipment and for the film Elevator Principle. So this is an actual booktube, though. I'm reading a short story I was lucky enough to come across um, by a young writer, an Italian named Federica Boldrini from the northern Italian city of Bergamo. The story is a story from Amsterdam. It's a very short story. And it's broken into sections, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that across, but then again, I'm reading it to you, and these are made for you to read yourself. It's the way it goes. So this story is called Damsko Shards. I'm going to start reading it right now. It's not very long. I come round on the toilet's floor, Spanish flies swarming on every inch of the walls and ceiling, a stifling emerald grotto. Voice, old chink cleaner standing in the doorway, rotten gums, face made of turds. Sorcerer. I'm cowering under the sink. Very bad trip, eh? Mop handle poking me in the belly. He stoops down to disfigure me with his suction cup mouth. Very bad trip. Ah! I scream and my head explodes in a puff of black spores. Someone drags me all the way back to my flat. Blinded by the sun, every face I see is melting. I can't speak. The stairwell is a mucous membrane, walls striated with pulsing cable veins, hands opening a door and flinging me inside. I barely make it to the wash basin, throw up, scalding vomit spraying on the mirror, bubbling in the cracked ceramic. I catch a glimpse of my reflection and watch the flesh turn into slug slime. I faint on my way to the bedroom. Blackout. A party? What kind of party? I shrug. Just a party at my place. Uh-huh. She scribbles my number on a scrap of paper and tosses it under the reception desk. She's showing me the road on a folding map. She's so stoned she's holding the map upside down, which seems to make no difference whatsoever. I'm staring blankly at a chipped fingernail tracing lines in random directions across the canals, listening to her slurring voice, careful not to look at her. See? Here's the Damrak. No, tss. Where's the Damrak? She squints. Here. You're here. Somewhere. See? Where? Here, somewhere. She throws her arm out in a gesture of mild irritation. She smells of late morning hangovers and expired oral contraceptives. I need her to come over tonight. I need it to be degrading enough to cure me of my needs. See? See? Later. Night. There's a brown stain on the pillow. I see it in the blade of light coming through the door left ajar. The fact that it's likely to be dried blood doesn't really matter, as I'm too concentrated on drawing air into my drooling mouth to care about anything else at all. The pillowcase is wet with slobber and acrid sweat. I'm trying to see through the blackness with wide catatonic eyes. I can't close them. I can't sleep. Paranoia is growing inside me as I listen to the muffled voices coming from the other flat. I know they're planning to take mushies and murder me and masturbate all over my corpse. I hear them laugh. I hear them plotting to dismember me in the bathtub, cover my remains in feces and cum. The house is saturated in drug-demented evil. My body is paralyzed, but my brain is doing a runner. Beating, 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 beating. Strobing lights shattering the world to pieces. Fragments of faces, of bodies, of hands. We cling to each other and sweat like crushed succulents. And everybody's gorgeous, and everybody matters. We share the love frenzy of an everlasting moment, brain transmitting to the air, in telepathic sync with the universe. The floor is beating in response to our hearts. We're one, we're one, we're one and the same. We peel off our clothes, shiny drenched skin in pink, green, yellow, blue flashes. Your smile, your smile, your smile. And your eyes, your eyes, your eyes. I suck them in through my fingertips. You're mounting like a wave inside me, cutting my breath in endless dance, 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 dance. Can you feel it? Feel it? Feel it? Feel it? Feel it? Woo! Ah! I stagger to the open window. The blinds are down, and I peep at the empty street through the missing slats. Warm waft of summer city smells. The streetlights are gyrating halos with prehensile eyelashes. Tranny eyes on stalks. I'm dehydrated. My tongue is a rag at the bottom of a dry well. I suck on my forearm and soak up the sweat. Pores dilating like crab holes on a sandy shore. I'm leaning against the windowsill and my eyes meet those of a blackbird crossing the street. It bears a row of tiny molars and smirks, aware of something about me that I've yet to realize. A sudden dry heave makes me reel back against the wall. Vertigo. Unable to reach the bed, I curl up on the carpeted floor. He's gaping, tears of joy flowing silently, the morning sunshine darting in his blue eyes like goldfish in a pond. The road, it's breathing. He falls to his knees, palms on the tarmac, smiling up at me. He's the most beautiful creature I've ever seen. See? Yes. I want to kiss you. I want to pretend I'm in love with you. Because if I really were, my love would tarnish your beauty forever. To my own eyes, you'd start looking like me. It's alive, isn't it? I'm stroking his hair, running my fingers through it. He's crying from happiness. It's alive. I've always known. We're all standing on a dinosaur's back. See? See? Thank you. That was Federica Boldrini's Damsko Shards. Damsko Shards. I think shards might refer to the fragments because they're all fairly short. This is the pages are the words on the pages are giant. It's like a book for old folks if they still make those. We made one. We made David Vardaman's Angel of Sodom in what do you call it? Big words in giant font for those who can't see well. I can read this. Watch this. I come around on the toilet's floor. Spanish flies swarming on every inch of the walls and ceiling. A stifling emerald grotto. Voice. I didn't know quite how to read it, so I did it the way I wanted to. But, this is just I read one other story by this person, and I was quite taken by the language. If this one is a bit hard to swallow. We have feces. We have vomiting. We have the classic Asian RL problem, which might get us in trouble with certain groups. That's always been something I wonder about. How do you handle something like that? Because it really does happen. Although, strangely, a good friend of mine named Taro Imamura had that problems with his R's and L's, but his name was Taro, and he didn't say Talo, he said Taro. But if I wanted him to say sorrow, he would have said Saro. So it does happen. And what do you do with that? Um, I say, if you're a writer, you just write it the way you see it, hear it, whatever. But I'm wondering if I can find quickly. I think that when we got to watch my face turn into slug slime, I was convinced that this was a writer. Um, it was already going that way. That everything seemed to be right. But I'll tell you where I really okay, expired oral contraceptives. Um, could tell that there was a way with words and a vocabulary to match. Wide catatonic eyes. Um, the paranoia is nice. Um, but what really got me was the street lights are gyrating halos with prehensile eyelashes. That's a gorgeous image. And then it's followed by one of those things that is just as spooky as it gets. My eyes meet those of a blackbird crossing the street. Spooky enough, right? But then it bears a row of tiny molars and smirks. Um, you may think, well, that's not very realistic. And of course, this is a story of drug defiled vision. But I had a friend who had a sebaceous cyst removed from his eyebrow. Um, I've had one removed from my back, and the thing about it was, it really it was there for years, and I had a friend who had one in the same spot, and he got health insurance before I did, and he got it removed, and I thought, that's a betrayal. He's a good friend of mine. He still is. He's one of my best friends. He's like a brother to me. But I just couldn't fathom that. He didn't ask me, you know. He just had it removed. And I thought, well, that's something that, you and I have it in exactly the same place. And, the close to the middle of the back, but in the upper left quadrant. I remember swimming once with a friend's daughters, and one of them was making fun of my sebaceous cyst, and relentlessly. She's doing well right now, making a good living in Alaska, has a great life, a couple of great kids, and so on. And despite how mean she was to me about my cyst, I'm very happy for her. But I told her it was a brain. I told her it was a second brain. And, well, years later, I was finally put on insurance, and I thought, well, okay, it's growing a little bit. We might as well just. I asked my doctor, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's nothing to take it off." She did it right there in her office. She removed my sebaceous cyst, and what was astonishing was how unbelievably bad it smelled. Um, I've never written about it, so I don't know how I would describe the smell. I don't really actually remember anything but my reaction to the smell. It was awful. So, this friend of mine who had the cyst on his eyebrow, when they took it out, they found out that it had teeth. Imagine that. Now, is this story really so rough, so dark? Well, I don't know. When you got gnawing toothy, sebaceous cysts growing on your eyebrow like little twins, or parasite brother or sister. I don't know if they sexed it. Well, again, and I'm going to stick to this. Trigger warnings? Fuck off. Come on. Okay, we'll probably read another story or do something else. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about this book, A Bended Circuity. The further I get into this, the more amazing it gets, and I'm getting into some very interesting territory right now. I'm not sure. It's a long scene. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but anyway, it's covering up. I should have been holding it up the whole time. I forgot what T-shirt I was wearing. Dullard in Awe. Well, that's me, Rick Harsh, Corona Samizdat, writer and publisher. Thank you.